Hello and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Top 10. We've done top 10s before that you can go check out, but for now, we're taking a look at Link monsters. For this list, we won't be bringing up any of the specific archetype monsters. These ones can fit into almost any deck, but let's get to it. Number 10. LINKURIBOH. Now I know what you're thinking. LINKURIBOH? Really? Well, before you say anything, remember, this guy can stop a lot of opponents' attacks just by being on the board. He is an easy to summon Link 1 monster, so as long as you run a level 1 monster or even a token, you got him. When summoned, this little guy can sacrifice himself to drop an opponent's monster's attack to 0, stopping it in its place. And as an added bonus, if you still control any level 1 monster on the field at any time, you can sacrifice it and bring this right back. So it'll keep coming back again and again just to annoy your opponents for a good long time. Number 9. Isolde, Two Tails of the Noble Knights. Isolde earns the spot at number 9 for basically being a staple in any warrior deck out there. When summoned, she can get you any warrior from the deck straight to your hand, basically being a free reinforcement of the army, but also a monster with link arrows. She's easy to bring out, easy to use, and a solid pick for any deck including warriors. Number 8. Heavy Metal Foes Electromite. Now, this card may not seem like much, but with the right deck it can make an entire board. While we may not see as much of it due to pendulums being a little less common in the current game, if you do use a pendulum deck, then I guarantee you want to run this card. It was limited to 1 copy in a deck for a reason, right? It doesn't only search for the cards you need, but it has recycling power needed for the current pendulum playstyle. This single card can either start a strong opening play, or be used later to help you recover in the late game. Number 7. Sky Striker Ace KAGARI. There was a time when Sky Strikers dominated the top meta by a very wide margin. That was before KAGARI was limited to 1. Now, the Sky Strikers may not be as dominant as they used to be in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta, but their engine is still very useful in many decks. With their high amount of utility cards, including draw power, control, and destruction at their disposal, KAGARI being able to help reuse them over and over is highly valuable. Number 6. CRYSTRON NEEDLEFIBERO. Needlefiber is a must-have for just about any synchro deck, especially speed synchrons. This card single-handedly helped bring back the synchro archetype to the modern game by setting up the much-needed link arrows, while getting a free tuner from the deck to keep the combos moving. Even when the play is over, it can sacrifice itself as material to bring out a much-needed synchro tuner, or just something to annoy your opponent such as spell destruction or draw power. With easy costs and practically no downsides, Needlefiber easily claims the number 6 spot. Number 5. Knightmare Phoenix. The Knightmare archetype is one of the easiest and strongest link types out there. They can easily support each other with link arrows that go in almost any direction. Knightmare Phoenix is arguably the easiest fit in almost any link deck. When climbing to any higher link monsters, having this one in the chain allows for not only more Knightmare plays, but the convenient removal of back row cards, which is essential when cards like Tornado Dragon, Twin Twisters, or Mystical Space Typhoon aren't as common as they once were. Plenty of Knightmare cards are also worthy of this top 10, but Phoenix is my personal favorite. Number 4. APOLLOUSA, Bow of the Goddess. This card is fairly new, but it has already made a major impact in the current game's meta as a Link 4 monster. It can be a little costly to get her out, but in a Link spam deck, APOLLOUSA can be brought out as an afterthought with good payout. The name of the game right now is Negation, and that is exactly what this bow brings you. Depending on how you bring it out, you could have up to 4 negations to help you lock down an opponent's field. Very handy. Number 3. Mech Knight Crusadia Avramax. This is a monster of a card. Not many other cards can retain such a strong presence on the field. If summoned, he can be one of the most difficult monsters to take down. With 3000 attack, this monster has a bit of power, but also an attack gaining effect that makes it almost unbeatable by battle. It also protects the rest of your field by drawing opponents' attacks to itself. Oh yeah, and it also can't be targeted by card effects either, so good luck taking this thing down. Even if you do defeat it, its last effect is going to take another monster with it. Seriously, it's really annoying. So you better have a kaiju in your side deck or something. Number 2. SARYUJA Skuldred. Since this card's released, it has been in almost every deck that uses Link monsters. With its strong hand recycling and allowing an additional normal summon, it's no surprise that this card has made its way into almost every competitive deck. Using Skuldred is like having a second turn on your own turn, and when combos stretch as far as they do now, it means a lot. Skuldred may not be the strongest individual monster on this list, but it can support almost any deck in the meta today, giving it a strong number 2 spot. Now, before we list our number 1 Link monster, I'd like to give an honorable mention to a few of these other ones. Mostly because I would be torn apart if I didn't mention a few of these. Topologic Bomber Dragon, Topologic Trisbana, Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos, Akashic Magician, Dragoonity Knight Romulus, Guard Dragon Agarpain, Decode Talker, Link Spider? Okay, that's enough, we get it. Link monsters can be very good and or versatile. Obviously, with the right deck, any of the cards mentioned could be a top contender, but that leads us to number 1. Number 1, BORRELSWORD Dragon. Or BORRELSWORD Dragon. One of those two, BORRELSWORD. Okay, so we couldn't just pick one of these guys for the number 1 spot, because both of them are some of the strongest, if not the strongest cards to put in any deck. Between the two of them, there's almost nothing that they can't beat. BORRELSWORD can break almost any defensive field by being able to take over any monster it comes in contact with, and using it against your opponent. However, its counterpart, BORRELSWORD Dragon, is one of the strongest OTKs in the game. It can steal your opponent's monster's attack points and give it to itself, winning almost any battle head-on. After that, it can use its other effect to use those stolen attack points and make a second attack. Even on a bad day, BORRELSWORD will deal 6,000 damage to your opponent's life points. All it costs is switching one monster to defense mode, which happens to be a very solid defensive strat, protecting itself and your field if your opponent somehow manages to survive. And that makes our list of the top 10 Link monsters. Did we miss one of your favorites? Obviously we had to leave out some of the more specific and difficult summons, but be sure to list your top Link monsters in the comments below. Also, be sure to suggest other Yu-Gi-Oh! Top 10s for us to cover in the near future. Together, we can all become better Yu-Gi-Oh! Nerds, or just disagree completely and have to settle it in a duel. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos, and I'll see you next time.